Hi everyone. Today we'll learn about the physiology of memory. It is one of the higher intellectual functions, and in exam it is being asked in as a question of 5 marks. So again, it is important. So let's start. Definition. Memory is defined as the ability to recall past experience or information. It is also defined as a retention of learned materials. There are various degrees of memory. Some memories remain only for few seconds, while others last for hours, days, months, or even years together. Anatomical basis of memory. Anatomical basis of memory is the synapse in brain. Synapse for memory coding is slightly different from other synapses. Two separate presynaptic terminals are present here. One of the terminals is primary presynaptic terminal, which ends on postsynaptic neuron, as in conventional synapse. This terminal is called the sensory terminal because sensations are transmitted to the postsynaptic neuron through this terminal. Other presynaptic terminal ends on the sensory terminal itself. This terminal is called facilitator terminal. When sensory terminal is stimulated alone without facilitator terminal, the firing from sensory terminal leads to habituation. In other words, the firing decreases slowly. On the other hand, if both the terminals are stimulated, facilitation occurs and the signals remain strong for long period. In other words, for few months to few years. So this is a figure of synaptic terminal for memory encoding, as we have talked before. This is a primary presynaptic terminal. This is a facilitator terminal, and this one is a postsynaptic neuron. We have seen the anatomical basis of memory. Now it is the physiological basis of memory. Memory is stored in brain by the alteration of synaptic transmission between the neurons involved in memory. Storage of memory may be facilitated or habituated depending upon many factors, such as neurotransmitter, synaptic transmission, functional status of brain, etc. Now we'll see what is facilitation. Facilitation is the process by which memory storage is enhanced. It involves increase in synaptic transmission and increased postsynaptic activity. Often facilitation is referred as positive memory. The process involved in facilitation of memory is called the memory sensitization. So in Viva, maybe you are being asked that what positive memory is or what is memory sensitization. So you should know this, that facilitation is positive memory or memory sensitization. Now we'll see the habituation. Habituation is the process by which memory storage is attenuated. The meaning of attenuation is decrease in strength, effect, or value. It involves a reduction in synaptic termination and slow stoppage of postsynaptic activity. Sometimes habituation is referred as negative memory. So again, negative memory is habituation. Now we'll see the basis for short-term memory. So basically, basic mechanism of memory is the development of new neuronal circuits by the formation of new synapses and facilitation of synaptic transmission. Number of presynaptic terminals and size of the terminals are also increased. This forms the basis of short-term memory. Basis for long-term memory. When neuronal circuit is reinforced by constant activity, memory is consolidated and encoded into different areas of the brain. This encoding makes memory a permanent or a long-term memory. Sites of encoding. Hippocampus and PAP circuit closed circuit between hippocampus, thalamus, hypothalamus, and corpus stratum are the main sites of memory encoding. Frontal and parietal areas are also involved in memory storage. Experimental studies of memory. This is just for your knowledge. Most of the experimental studies of memory and learning are based on the research carried out in the sea hare or a sea snail called Aplysia. This animal is useful in brain research because it has a simple, uncomplicated nervous system that can be easily approached in living animal with simple dissection. Another advantage of this snail is that the individual nerve cells are large and brightly colored. We have seen anatomical and physiological basis of memory. Now this is the chemical or molecular basis of memory, which includes memory engram. Molecular basis of memory can be explained by memory engram, and memory engram is a process by which memory is facilitated and stored in a brain by means of structural and biochemical changes. Often it is also called memory trace. Molecular basis of the facilitation. In this process, the neurotransmitter serotonin plays a major role. Calcium ions increase the release of serotonin, which facilitates the synaptic transmission to a great extent, leading to memory storage. Molecular basis of the habituation. Habituation is due to passive closure of calcium channels of terminal membrane. Hence, the release of transmission decreases, resulting in decrease in number of action potential in the postsynaptic neuron. So the signals become weak, and weakening of signals leads to habituation. Now we'll see the consolidation of memory. The process by which a short-term memory is crystallized into a long-term memory is called the memory consolidation. Consolidation causes permanent facilitation of synapses. It is possible by the rehearsal mechanism. In other words, rehearsal of some information again and again accelerates and potentiates the degree of transfer of short-term memory into long-term memory. This is what happens in the memorizing a poem or a phrase. Classification of memory. Memory is classified by different methods on the basis of various factors. Short-term memories and long-term memories. Generally, memory is classified as short-term and long-term memory. First, we'll see the short-term memory. Short-term memory is the recalling events that happened very recently, within hours or days. It is also known as recent memory. For example, telephone number that is known today may be remembered till tomorrow, but if it is not recalled repeatedly, it may be forgotten on the third day. Short-term memory may be interrupted by many factors such as stress, trauma, drug abuse, etc. There is another form of short-term memory which is called the working memory. It is concerned with recollection of past experience for a very short period on the basis of which an action is executed. Then there is a long-term memory. Long-term memory is the recalling of events of weeks, months, years, or sometimes lifetime. It is otherwise called the remote memory. Examples are recalling first day of schooling, birthday celebration of previous year, picnic enjoyed last week, etc. And long-term memory is most resistant and is not disrupted easily. So here again the Viva question, that what is remote memory and what is working memory. So short-term memory is a working memory and a long-term memory is a remote memory. Now again memory is divided into two types, which is explicit and implicit memories. Physiologically, memory is classified into two types, namely explicit memory and implicit memory. First we'll see what is explicit memory. Explicit memory is defined as a memory that involves conscious recollection of past experience. It consists of memories regarding events which occurred in the external world around us. The information stored may be about a particular event that happened at a particular time and place. Explicit memory is otherwise known as declarative memory or recognition memory. So again, declarative memory કોને કહેવાય? એવું વાયવામાં પૂછાય તો you should have the answer that explicit memory is a declarative memory. Example of explicit memory are a recollection of a birthday party celebrated 3 days ago, an event taken place while taking breakfast, etc. Explicit memory involves hippocampus and medial part of the temporal lobe. Implicit memory. Implicit memory is defined as a memory in which past experience is utilized without conscious awareness. It helps to perform various skilled activities properly. Implicit memory is otherwise known as non-declarative memory or skilled memory. So again, if you are being asked that what is skilled memory, then you should have to know that implicit memory is the skilled memory or non-declarative memory. Examples of implicit memory are cycling, driving, playing tennis, dancing, typing, etc. Implicit memory involves the sensory and motor pathways. Now we see the memories depending upon the duration. Depending upon the duration, memory is classified into 3 types: sensory memory, primary memory, and secondary memory. Sensory memory. Sensory memory is the ability to retain sensory signal in sensory areas of brain for a very short period of few seconds after the actual sensory experience. For example, few hundred milliseconds. But the signals are replaced by new sensory signals in less than 1 second. It is the initial stage of memory and it resembles walking memory. The second one is the primary memory. The primary memory is the memory of facts, words, numbers, letters, or other information retained for few minutes at a time. For example, after searching and finding a telephone number in the directory, we remember the number for a short while. After appreciating beautiful scenery, the details of it could be recalled for some time. Afterwards, it disappears from the memory. Characteristic features of this type of memory is that the information is available for recall easily from memory store itself. One need not search or squeeze through the mind, but this memory is easily replaced by new bits of memory. In other words, by looking into another telephone number, the first one may disappear. And third one is a secondary memory. Secondary memory is the storage of information in brain for a longer period. The information could be recalled after hours, days, months, or years. It is also called fixed memory or permanent memory. It resembles long-term memory. So again, if exam ની અંદર પૂછાય કે what is permanent memory or fixed memory, then you should have the answer that secondary memory includes secondary memory is called the fixed memory or permanent memory. Drugs facilitating memory. Several stimulants for central nervous system are shown to improve learning and memory in animals. Common stimulant are caffeine, physostigmine, amphetamine, nicotine, strychnine, and metrazole. All these substances mentioned above facilitate the consolidation of memory. We'll see the applied physiology or abnormalities of memory because it is very common and you should have some idea about that. The first one is amnesia. Loss of memory is known as amnesia. Amnesia is classified into two types: retrograde and antrograde. But આપણે એના વિશે નથી જોવાનું. It's just you should have to know that loss of memory is known as amnesia. The second one is dementia. Dementia is a progressive deterioration of the intellect, emotional control, social behavior, and motivation associated with loss of memory. It is an age related disorder. Usually, it occurs about the age of 65 years. But when it occurs under the age of 65, it is called the presenile dementia. Clinical features. Common features are loss of recent memory, lack of thinking and judgment, and personality changes. As the disease progresses, psychiatric features begins to appear. There is no effective treatment for this disorder. And the third one is Alzheimer's disease. Alzheimer's disease is a progressive neurodegenerative disease. It is due to degeneration or loss of function and death of neurons in many parts of brain, particularly cerebral hemispheres, hippocampus, and pons. There is reduction in the synthesis of most of the neurotransmitters. And dementia is a common feature of this disease. So in many movies we have heard that this word or this abnormalities, which is Alzheimer's disease. So this was all about the physiology of memory. Again, it is being asked in 5 marks question, so it is important and it is easy to understand. And though if you are having any query, let me know.